Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blackshirt Breakdown. My name is Steve Marik. I'm a staff writer at Inside Nebraska, and he is Jay Foreman, our NFL veteran and former Husker Blackshirt. Jay, we have a defensive back commit for the Huskers to break down out of the 2023 class in DeAndre Barnes, a three-star out of Regis Jesuit High School in Aurora, Colorado. Just a little bit of background before we get into the video highlights here. DeAndre is 6 feet, 175 pounds. He started both ways for Regis Jesuit as a safety on defense, which we believe that he's going to be starting his career at Nebraska, and receiver. He has a lot of good receiver tape on the offensive side. So just a little bit about the high school at Regis Jesuit. It's same high school as Jack Stahl went to,
Right.
the Philadelphia Eagles tight end who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl, and also Hayden Moore, a former commit to the Huskers who flipped to Michigan, a linebacker out there in Colorado. So interesting pickup for sure, Jay. But after reviewing the film and reading up a little bit about DeAndre, what do you think about him?
Well, first thing I think, jumps off the tape is that, he can cover a lot of ground, especially when you see him playing free safety. And he looks like he has, pretty fluid hips where he's playing, top down, man-to-man coverage. And so they feel very comfortable with him to, cover guys from off position. And so that gives you a lot of flexibility when you're trying to, project him into a 3-3-5 or any type of safety position. That gives you some flexibility there. He's a willing tackler. He's pretty physical for being only 175. I think his weight at 175 is more, from, obviously doing really well at track, and so, obviously now when he starts to concentrate solely on football, I don't think it'll be a problem for him to get up to, 185, 190 and be able to, still keep his speed and quickness. But really when we get into this tape, his ability to go from sideline to sideline, hash the numbers and the really, really fluid and really can cover a lot of space. He has good tracking ability. And so I'm sure this is something that, Coach White is definitely looking at trying to keep him. I think it's, you talked about the coaches talked about how competitive they are in recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with the plethora of athletes that they've gotten, I think we're getting close to 40. You think about when you got 85 of the roster, you talk about you want half of them. Well, Rhule said, you know what, I'm going to do that in year one. I think they're going to have a lot of competition because you have, multiple positions, offense and defensive guys, to where, these guys are going to be competitive who they can get. But Barnes is, he looks good, man. And so I'm sure they're pretty happy to get him in the fold.
Yeah, so he picked Nebraska over other offers, not highly recruited, low three-star according to Rivals, but he had a recent offer from BYU. Also had offers from Wyoming, Nevada, and one out in the MAC with Bowling Green. But he becomes the fifth DB in Nebraska's 2023 class out of high school, joining Dwight Boodle, Sincere Safiwela, Ramir Stewart, Ethan Nation, and now DeAndre Barnes. And well,
Right.
it could be six, depending on what happens with Jalen Lloyd, who we think might be starting at receiver, but I don't think that's set in stone yet. But yeah, let's get into it right now. Jay, first thing, let's start off with some defensive highlights here. Again,
Right.
I think when we were talking off video here, you called him a good boundary safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
just the closing speed with him is something to watch here.
Yeah, you see him right now. He's playing more to the field, but his ability to cover from off right here, and he can read routes, right? And so that lets you know right there for the cover to be an inside technique and to be able to read the route, and then obviously intercept the ball and take it to the house on a 7 cut, which is a corner route, is pretty impressive. You see him here, good fluid in the back pedal here. He's reading the routes right because he's reading it actually from the slot receiver to three, right, playing deep. And then once he saw, the inside guys jump the under route by number two, and number one out there stayed on him as man to man, right? So they're running a little bit of a what we used to call triangle, right? 3-on-2. And so his job is to take the deep of the deepest, and that's what he did. The pass wasn't there, but look where he intercepts the ball, right? You talk about high pointing the ball, and it's good that they're the first time we did a breakdown on drone right here, so we're getting we're getting baptized here in the fire. But when you see it, it actually gives you a good angle to see his athletic ability, right? If you go a little bit back right here, right? So he's running the route for him, undercuts it because of his speed, Obviously, good feet and obviously route recognition. But
Mm-hmm.
look where he high points this ball right here, right? And so what right there, see, look, it's a catchable ball, right? And obviously the offense to say they want to throw it almost close to the sideline, but where it's thrown at right there, he obviously reads the route, had plenty of time to recover on the route. And the thing that obviously you like right here is the run after the interception. And you'll see multiple times on tape. He gets 5 yards, he gone. And you can see the track runner right there. And the best thing I like about it, once he cocks that head back, he's gone. And so he knows how to hit the sideline. And that's a pretty impressive play. The first one on his tape, and you see it again right here. This play right here, he was covering from off, right? And that's what you want. He can cover from distance. And so he has the technique and the footwork and the hips to do so. Again, another hard route to cover, which is a corner route, 7 route, what we used to call in the defensive, meeting rooms. But look what he did. He has the coverage. He has good leverage. So, he's going to be able to make the play on the ball. He's in between the receiver and the ball, high points it, and makes a pretty good interception, a great interception for a high school kid right here, because you're taking points off the board, but then also you're getting the possession back to his team. And so it's a double whammy right there. Because a good play would have been to knock it down. A great play is to intercept and get the ball back for your offense. His ability to high point the ball is really, really good. And now you see him here playing more of a, in the middle of the field, deep third safety here, where you're going to see a little bit of his closing speed right here. Good angle to the ball. So what you want to do is you want him to come tight to the hip, kill grass. Don't give him a one-way go as far as when you're filling the alley right here. And so you see the position flexibility for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can have him be a cover safety, or you can have him be an alley filler right here. So he knows how to read the defense, right? So it's something that you practice on. And so as a coach, you want this guy to be your last line of defense, but you want him to be a sure tackler and also tackle to where even if he does miss it, it's going to be going back to all his help. You see the help right there with 5 guys, but look at the technique, right?
Mm-hmm.
Low pads, drive, take him down to the ground, no yards after contact. So that lets you know he's a willing tackler. There isn't any second guessing right here. He's coming up, filling. Obviously, when you have the speed he actually has to play a little bit slower, but that's also letting you know as a defensive back, he has some patience. And so, from the defensive backfield, I'm sure that Evan Cooper is trying to get him in his room
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost, because he's able to do a multitude of things, both from up close and from afar, and he can play the run. And so with a little coaching and obviously getting the weight room, I'm sure he's pretty excited.
I wanted to throw some of his offensive highlights. Again, we
Yeah.
think he's going to start his career with Evan Cooper as a safety in Evan Cooper's room. But let's talk a little bit about his speed. As a sophomore, he won the Colorado 200-meter dash state title with a time of 21.69 seconds, and that was as a sophomore. And I looked it up. His best 100-meter dash effort, 10.69 seconds. And his best 200-meter dash, 21.49. So this kid can fly. Again, 6 foot, good size, and like you said, get him in the strength and conditioning program under Corey Campbell. Get him up to 180, 190, whatever they want to do with him. I think they're going to be working with something. But again, I think if I'm not mistaken, these first 2 highlights are just post routes he takes to the house and just runs by guys.
Yeah, well, you're looking at it right here. One thing, he obviously, he has the speed. So then you're going to look at his route running, and his route running is pretty good right here, right? Sells the outside route, beats him across his face, right? Catches it with his hands, a hard catch right there. It wasn't an easy catch. And the next thing you know, you could just fast forward it because, once you get to step on, you're gone. But when you see this right here, look at the route right here. He's going to sell it inside, get the DB. Then he's going to get on top of him, right? And there's an old saying, once you're even, I'm leaving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now he crosses him up. Right now he catches it, or now he's created the separation. Now he's running full speed, and look where the pass is. He led him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty impressive pass by the quarterback, but it wasn't totally on the money. So then you look at, okay, well, how does he catch the ball, right? The technique, does he catch the ball? Is he a body catcher? Is he a hand catcher? Does he have the right technique as far as the trajectory of the ball? And he does everything right here, where he obviously beats him across it. A little bit more of an extended basket catch because of the trajectory of the ball, right? It was a little bit lower flight. So he had to get out there and stretch it out there, and then catches in stride. The rest is history. So that's what you like. Yeah, I like that post route right there because he sold it two different ways, and then he didn't have any missteps as far as when he was coming out of his break. He was explosive out of his break when he crossed the face of the defensive back there.
Yeah, I lied earlier. We didn't put both of his post route touchdowns in. This one's just a little bit of a screen just to get him the ball out in space right away and
Right.
let him go to work, and he winds up again outrunning the defense for a touchdown.
Yeah, right here. Well, this is the Matt Rhule staple right here. Is the smoke screen. You saw a lot of this in Baylor. So you got a good block by your inside receiver. It's his job to make one guy miss and get. I always say the most explosive plays when you want to go house calls is get to that sideline. Now, look, this young man is obviously faster than anybody in a 25-mile radius, I bet. But once he gets the sideline, I look at how can he outrun angles, and he outran 3 angles right there. So he has for real speed, and so when you look at guys that have good track times, do they play like Jalen Lloyd? He runs to his track times.
Mm-hmm.
Barnes right here, he plays to his track times. So you see him the ability to start, and when you see him right here at the 30-yard line, makes one guy miss. How fast or how less of strides does he get to the 40? It's about 3.5 strides. Now he starts to eat up ground on the angles, and so this is for real speed. So yes, you can look at the competition, but they're focused on the speed and his ability to go from 0 to 100. His motor gets going right away, and he is for real a deep threat. Being 6 foot, 175 pounds.
And out here, last play, I believe, just again as an outside receiver who, we saw some. If you go back in this huddle, there's some as an outside receiver, as a slot. You can do a lot of different things with him, obviously. But again, this one over the middle of the field, not an easy catch for a lot of guys, but he didn't look scared at all. And again, the speed just took over right when he got the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, look, the more you can do, and he's catching it right here in the window. So that's a good pass there by the
Yeah, this
quarterback. But
quarterback.
yeah, he's putting it right in the window, and they know once he gets it, if the defensive backs aren't ready, he's going to outrun any technique. It's a good pass, good catch right there, right? He knew he was going to get contact, made one guy miss, and in the poor safety right there, you don't have a chance. I give it to him for giving good effort, but then reality set in about the 25-yard line. But look at this route right here. You got right there. He kind of sold it. It's a little bit of a slough route, right? 28 bites up. He takes the cheese,
Mm-hmm.
crosses the face. Quarterback read it. Right here, the linebacker is in between the linebacker, right? And the linebacker couldn't get there because of the speed, right? The linebacker on a teach tape should have been a little bit deeper, but you can't when you're not ready for this type of speed. Now he gets in front of the safety. And just like I said last highlight, once he's even, he's leaving. Now look at this right here. It's just pure finishing out the last 60, 70 meters or whatever it is in the 200. And, he's just waiting for the referee to get out of the way, and he's going straight to the house right there. So it's the things that are appealing to Matt Rhule, right? He's looking for guys that can play multiple sports and be competitive and be successful. He's definitely looking for speed, right? Everybody that he's recruited so far, especially in the skill position, you can see speed, quickness. I look at fluid in the hips, especially when you have guys that run track because they usually are linear, which is straightforward. But these guys have obviously been well coached and well trained to where they're fluid coming in and out of their breaks. And so that's appealing to a football coach, right? So he's a for real football player. He's not a track guy that's out just trying to run 9 routes all day and catch one deep pass and then be done for the rest of the day. And so he fits right into what they're doing. They're bringing in a lot of obviously players. I think we're getting close to 40. And that's what he's supposed to do. So it's going to be some serious competition come spring and in fall camp. But he fits the script. And then, as far as what he projects to be I call it a field safety, right? A boundary safety in general might be your thumper, but he can play both. And sometimes the boundary safety has more coverage responsibilities because it's on to you faster and then you're closer to the sideline. Therefore, you could possibly give up more explosive plays. So I think he has position flexibility as far as field safety, boundary safety. Play a little bit of an alley player right there. So you could do a little bit of if you go back to when Nebraska played Purdue, a little bit of a triangle right there, 2 linebackers, and he is a little bit more inverted, where he could be an alley player because, what you saw right there is his ability to fill the alley with enough patience and technique. And so, look at, he could be a 3-star recruit, but that's what you want when you're trying to get a guy that has potential and the ability to get better, and he's off the radar, right? So just because he's a 3-star doesn't mean that he can't be an effective player for you, especially within your system or your defensive scheme.
Absolutely. So senior year, mostly at safety, 55 tackles, 6 interceptions, 1 pick six, kind of a ball hawk over there. And then on the other side of the ball as a receiver, 37 catches for 785 yards and 9 touchdown catches. And he also was a returner for them over his final 3 seasons of high school football at Regis Jesuit, over 2,500 all-purpose yards. So he was their
Right.
kickoff returner. He had some nice punt returns as well. Just an athlete. So
Yeah.
that is DeAndre Barnes, the 28th overall commitment, 27th high schooler in the Huskers 2023 class. He is Jay Foreman. I am Steve Marik, and that was the Blackshirt Breakdown. Catch you guys next time.